Support Laneside. Get something cool. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another edition of The Drill Room. As always, I am the bearded beast, Rob Johnson, hopefully joined by Scoops a little later. He said he was going to try to make it by. Hopefully he does. And tonight it is social night. So this is something that we're going to do when we don't have something particular to talk about. We don't have a new ball. We don't have some kind of teaching or something that we want to cover specifically. We're just going to have social nights where we can get together. And really, the show's going to be up to pretty much, it'll be whatever we want it to be. We can answer questions from social media, which is one of the things we're going to do tonight. We can go over to the, actually into the drill room, go over to the layout bench. We're going to take a look at some arsenal construction, something new I'm trying. And really, we're just going to talk about whatever. So if you have any questions, please feel free to throw them into the chat box here on Twitch. Remember that if you ever want a question answered and you can't join us here live on Twitch, you can find us at lanesidereviews.com. That'll take you to our Facebook page. That'll link you up to all of our social media. If you don't have Facebook, you can find us on Twitter and TikTok and, well, pretty much everywhere if you look up Laneside Reviews. Or look up hashtag TEAMLSR. You'll find most of our posts there. Once again, you can find us on Twitch at Laneside Reviews. We try to post these episodes the next day after they happen on YouTube, so that way you can join. If you can't join us live, you can at least watch them. So, without further ado, let's jump into things. So, let's see here. I'm just going to switch over to Twitch. I can see we've got 4 viewers out there this evening. Thanks, everybody, for joining us. Throwing out a welcome to the chat out there. So, let's see. I think probably the first thing we're going to cover here. Let's talk. Let's do some social media questions. I really like leading off with those just because they can give us some place to go. If we don't have a lot of questions in the chat, they can give us a direction. And I love answering questions for people. And this makes it a lot easier. So let's see what we can do there. Hey, Mobile Ledge 1. Nice to see you. Thank you for joining us once again. Very much appreciated. I'm going to start off here over in Facebook land. Hello, Facebook. We talked about, I think last show we talked about Joshua, who had messaged in on Facebook and sent us some information. He just let us know he thanked us a lot for answering his question and kind of plotting out the information that he had sent us. Looks like he, one of the layouts here is similar to what he had on a Black Widow that he really liked, so hopefully that'll work for him when he's moving into his new benchmark layout. Joshua had been the gentleman that we laid out a ball for last week. His PAP had changed, and we were talking about how that pin distance going from a 4.5, 4.25 inch pin down to a 3-inch pin really does change the way that a symmetrical ball rolls. So it was great that we could help him out there. Thank you for watching. I think you probably caught us on YouTube there. Oh, Scoops is at the door. Give me 1 second here. I'm going to let him in. I gotta find my mask. Begun the festivities. I'm just answering some questions from the socials. Nice. Nick's just joined us here. He's still got his mask on because he's within 6 feet of me. And while we've all been, poked and jabbed and blah blah blah, we want to stay safe because we've got a little itty bitty Alice Scoops at home. We've got to keep safe. and a wife
And a wife, yeah.
Stuff like that.
Stuff, yeah. Stuffs and things.
Ooh, look, I've got a message here from Avzul Ahmed. He loves our YouTube channel and he's a digital marketer, and he'd like to help me with my SEO ranking. That's very nice of him, but that's not a bowling question. Let's see here. How does the double cross compare to the new purple hammer? Haven't thrown it yet. But we do know that it's going to be a little cleaner through the front, a lot stronger in the mid lane because of that core. Hopefully, this is from James Scott. Hopefully, we're going to be able to maybe throw that this weekend if we're really lucky. We got a whole bunch of reviews coming up.
I'm hoping we can get some done before everything else comes in.
Yeah, because we got that Pink Widow to look at.
Pink Widow's going to come on.
Yeah. Now we're going to slide over to the YouTubes. That makes me an old man every time I call it a YouTubes. That makes me a year older. Let's see here. From YouTubes. Ooh, maybe I'll use the studio. Might be an easier one to get all my comments from. There we go. From Joe Lafser. Talking about that purple stuff. Just saying Ron should pay us. He doesn't have to pay us. We just like purple stuff. Well, when it first came out, the purple stuff was the bomb. Now it's life after death.
Life after death, yep.
Let's see here. Corbin updating us. He should be getting his big shim drilled Monday or Wednesday.
Nice.
Awesome. Looking forward to hearing about it. He's got a 45-minute drive to his driller, but that just gives you more time to listen to bowling stuff. From Jason Ark in our frequency video at 1 minute 30 seconds, anybody noticed the shot on lane 28 just disappear before it hit the head pin? You're asking if it's a glitch in the matrix. Most likely.
Yes.
Most likely a glitch in the matrix. Look at my bullet time. Whoa. Oh, I think I hurt my back. From Garrett Fusel. Really disappointed that you didn't get to watch it live. Definitely enjoyed the shop videos. Thank you for watching. Really appreciate it. Once again, you can join us 7 p.m. Tuesdays and Thursdays, or just catch them on YouTube. Let's see here. From Josh Gersten. 3D High Rev Hammer was a good ball when I was a kid. It was one of my top 2 favorite balls that I owned. I've thrown nothing but Storm for a long time and wanted to get a new one. Well, this is your time to get a new ball because that 3D... Nobody's going to have anything like the 3D offset.
I've heard only good things from people that got to drill it already. So
yeah, I know Liz Culkin really liked hers. I know Tom Doherty really liked his.
I think his is in his bag for the Open, I think.
Yeah. I think there's a couple of people who've got it in the bag for the Open. Did you hear Norm today talk about... I guess it would have been yesterday. No. He's like, these aren't flat. Even though the pattern's flat, these lanes aren't flat. Yeah. Let's see here. Here's one. Here's a question from Super Blitz. He or she has caught quite a few of our shows. Why are these tools so ridiculously expensive for pieces of plastic? Well, like most tools that you buy once and use for a very long time, the cost is into that first investment. They've done the research to figure it out. They've done all the die-casted molds and all that kind of stuff. They got to pay for that stuff somehow. Yeah. So they price it so that they can make their money back on all the research and stuff they've done. You
figure you spend the money on it, it's going to last a long time. So that's the thing.
Hopefully.
It's not going to break on you like some cheap stuff.
Yeah. I've had the same Prosect for 8 years now. Yeah. And it's perfect. So... it's just to recover the costs into the R&D. Some tools, though, I have seen are pretty silly pricing. I think the more kitschy it becomes, the more expensive, the more they mark it up because they're like, he's only going to buy this once because he's going to realize he doesn't need it. Scotty Thompson with cool video, Talk to Tech. Bowling Laneside reviews, Rob Johnson and Nick Scoops. Cool. Somebody wanted to know how the results, the original, which I believe is a hybrid, compares to the results plus. So let's just take a look here. Radical bowling results. And then we'll look at the results plus. Oh, they just retired this, didn't they? And they made it a plus sign, not a plus. Let's see. Oh. Poopy. I'll find it. Retired. Because I think they've just recently retired this ball.
You gotta make room.
They gotta make room for the new stuff. Did you hear Phil talking about there's a new solid and something that's... While we're not going to get remakes of the counter attack, there's something new coming.
Yeah, something in the works that's going to fill in the holes.
Let's see here. Where the heck are these things? Why can I... results plus. Oh, results plus. Helps to type in the text box and use your mouth. All right, let's see here. So they're both pearl cover stocks. Both use. Let me see here. This uses the TP1. Uses the TP1 Plus. So it's just a cover stock change. The cores are identical. So yeah, the difference between the results and the results plus is a cover stock change. Now I know from throwing them, the results plus was a little bit cleaner. The TP1 was a very smooth particle. It really digs in, where the results plus was a little bit cleaner. It seemed to get it even a little bit shinier, so you could kind of project it down the lane a little bit. Still about the same total hook.
Makes sense.
So, just answering social media. Let's see here. Somebody wrote about the Rev Trainer. Excellent, but way too expensive. I don't know. I think the Rev Trainer is pretty well priced considering what, it's almost indestructible.
Yeah.
I've got one literally that way about 5 feet with a ball on it. While we were closed, while we weren't able to be open, I was in here training, learning a new skill that I'll talk about later, learning to really get around the ball. I had myself at 10 degrees tilt reliably when I was down bowling on Monday. I was able to create it. It was pretty insane. I didn't know what to do with all that tilt. So I think that's it from there. That's it from YouTube's. So what I'm going to do, I think, is I'm going to switch up with Mr. Scoops here, and he'll be able to sit on the computer. Well, not on the computer, I hope.
Don't want to break it.
And let's see here. Okay, so I'm going to leave this position. I'm going to take my little book with me. Scoops, you're going to actually be able to see stuff, and people are going to be able to hear you. And now people are going to be able to hear me too. Okay. There is. All right, just making sure. So the first thing I thought I would talk about tonight, I'm going to take my mask off here. In the past, we've done a lot of arsenal building. I put out ball motion video. A lot of people really liked that had a section specifically on arsenal building on it. I think we put it out a couple of years ago. One of the problems with it is it was made pre-weight hole removal. So unfortunately, that means that some of the information, like, small weight hole or big weight hole or stuff like that, just doesn't work anymore.
Unless you put a pinky hole.
Unless you put, like friggin' Tom Doherty and his 1-inch pinky hole.
Yeah, there was a couple of guys that have done that lately, but Tom's was the biggest. Everybody was trying to call him out on that. So.
Well, there's no rule against it. I mean, you can.
Size rule, right? So
yeah, as long as it falls within the hole size rule, it's really legal as it wants to be.
What would that do though? That's a pretty high hole. Because that would be in what, P1?
Ooh.
What would that do though?
Yeah. Just gonna check the audio here. Why did you stop? Ah, well, not checking the audio then. Oh, I know what I have to do. Give me 1 second here. There we go. That should fix the audio. There we go. That should fix the audio. There we go. Now we got like a loop going. Okay, so what were we talking about? Arsenal construction and weight holes and stuff. Yeah, that would end up being a P1. Yeah, it'd be a P1 hole. So technically, that would reduce performance. So you could reduce the differential of the ball. Trying to think, actually, in that position, it'd probably work the same way as drilling your fingers deeper. So it would raise the RG of the ball, raise the RG planes.
Well, I guess like somebody like Tom that throws 2 fingers, grade more down, get the ball down like more, right?
Yeah, it won't read the fronts. Now that would make sense because I know a lot of the pros have been talking about how much the fronts hook.
Yeah.
At that center, so all right, with Arsenal construction, I've tried a few different things. Like everyone else, I've searched for the perfect ball reaction many times, and when we had weight holes, I felt like I had it hit. It's a system that Chris Barnes had come up with, and it seemed to work really well. Once we lost weight holes, though, it didn't quite translate. And since I've been looking for something that will, just give me those same looks, even though we can't have certain weight holes. And what I found actually is a Arsenal webinar that was done by Del Warren and the staff at Weber. And through a lot of note-taking and some phone calls and emails back and forth, I was able to put together kind of an idea of how I wanted to construct my next Arsenal for testing. I'm not going to take it off the wall. I'm going to read it for you guys. Basically, the way it works is we're going to break balls up into what we want them to do. So we need a ball for the fresh. We need a ball up from the fresh ball. We need a late hooking ball. We need something for the burn. We need urethane, and we need a spare ball. Oh, I thought you would. Now I want to go through them a little bit just so we have a better idea. So your fresh ball, this is where your benchmark is going to be. Now, this is a 6-ball Arsenal. If you are going to a specific tournament where you know the condition, these balls are going to change based on the condition you're bowling in. Where the last time I did an Arsenal video, it was an Arsenal for an unknown condition. So for this one that we're looking at here, this is going to be a medium pattern. So the fresh ball is going to be our benchmark. For this, we're going to use an ASIM, low diff. We want it to be in the 248 to 252 range for RG. The lower the RG, the faster it's going to spin up. So you're going to be able to play with those numbers a little bit based on the pattern that you're on. For differential, we want it to be in around that 030 to 050. 050 is going to be for when they are a heavier pattern. 030 for when we get to our medium and lighter patterns. So for this ball specifically, for a medium sport pattern, we're going to go with the Obsession Tour Solid. And I just so happen to have that ball right here. Just happens to be a coincidence. Now this is one that I've drilled before. This is the one that I had drilled pin up for our video for myself. What I've done is I've spun it to find the where the new mass bias was. Just so happens that because of where I drilled it, the mass bias, you can see here, this is where the mass bias was. Mass bias is actually in the hole, so I put the hole on my valve line. It's about 3 inches down, so it's going to act like the old school pin down slow response balls. We're going to call it pin down. In the past, when I've wanted to throw something that was slower response, I would throw something with a pin that was, rather than being below the bridge or below the fingers, here is our bonus. It would have the pin, shorter pin out this way to slow it down. This is 90 by 3 by 40. Where this one that I've drilled, right here, this is 55 by 4.5 by 75. So for drill angle, we've gone medium length. We've gone with a fairly strong pin position at 4.5 inches, but the 75-degree valve angle is going to be very slow response. So this ball is going to rev up relatively quickly. We can put a lot of surface on it, but it's not going to get super jumpy when it sees friction. Fairly smooth cover. This is going to be the new benchmark for the bag. Now for house shots, non-sport shots, because that one's going to be a little less jumpy off the back of the pattern. For house shots, you can see I still have my heat. And you can see that pin position over to the side there rather than below. In the house shots, we tend to have a lot more free friction to the right, where in sport patterns, they're a lot flatter. So with the heat will be a little stronger off the end of the pattern, where the Obsession Tour is going to be just a little bit smoother, a little more controllable. If you were going on, say, like a really heavy oil pattern, you might switch that up to, say, the new Paragon, another big strong cover. Same thing, pin down. If it's a little bit of a higher ratio on the pattern, so there's more oil in the middle, more friction to the outsides, you could probably go pin up with it rather than pin down, just so that you can take advantage of all the free friction. For our ball up, now we're doing this, I'm doing this as a matched to rev dominant player. These numbers change based on the style of bowler you are, so speed dominant, rev dominant, matched. And all of these numbers are out there. You can get them straight from Kegel. They're free online. I'm just putting them in one spot so you guys can see them. So for the ball up, we want something that's going to be have a little more shape down lane. So what we want is a strong ASIM. Most of the time in this position you would want something that would be a hybrid for the medium pattern, because you can add surface to it to get it to be a little bit earlier and a little bit more like a solid, or you can shine it up and make it a little bit more angular, just depending on where your friction is on the lane. So this is where your hybrid ball comes into the most play. You know, we always talk about best of both worlds. Yeah. This is literally why they make these balls. So you could, if you get to a tournament, you're like, oh, I need a little more hook. Let's rough this one up. It's still a stronger cover, but it's going to be a little more angular.
That's a good point, because it's always good to have the versatility like that, to be able to do something like that. Like, you get to a tournament, and we've run into it a couple times where we've built bags, gone on a long trip, got to a center, and it didn't play anything like what we expected.
Or they changed the pattern. Yeah, you are correct.
You got a guy swinging the lane when we figured we were going to have to play tight enough. And yeah, so being able to adjust the surface and get a little bit more or a little less is very important. So.
Yep. Welcome to the chat, Sainted Lord and Silly Rap. Yeah, you know, we're talking about putting more holes in bowling balls. That is correct. So for this ball, I wanted something that was going to have a high intermediate differential. So I wanted a high differential, a pretty strong intermediate differential. So, and we also wanted to be relatively low RG. So for RG, we say this one's going to be 248 to 253, fairly easy revving. Total differential of 44 or more. So this is where we're talking about our Black Widows. Trying to think of what else came out lately that's got the big differential in it. The warrants we saw, or the new collision from Deviate that we saw. You want those really big differentials. And then the intermediate differential, depending on how fast you want it to see the friction down lane, how quickly you want it to change direction, that's when you choose how big or small your differential is. The higher your differential, the faster it's going to jump on you. The lower the differential, the more smooth and continuous it's going to be. I chose the biggest differential ball I can get, or intermediate differential ball. I went with the Results Pearl, the original one. Even though this isn't an isn't a hybrid, I went with this because it's got the TP1 original cover stock in it. It's got the that texture pearl, which smooths it out a little bit more, gives it a little more teeth than a traditional pearl. So it's going to give me that versatility between like I'd see in a hybrid.
So it's close to the hybrid you can get without being a hybrid.
Yeah, pretty much. So for this one here, I have gone with a layout of 50 by 5 by 35. So a little earlier than my benchmark ball, not a lot, but a little bit. Longer pin distance, so it's going to lose tilt faster. It's also going to be max flare with motion farther down the lane. Now 5-inch pins aren't something I usually use. So I'm a little concerned about this because of my lower tilt. But as I was telling Scoops earlier, I was in practicing on Monday working on some new skills. And I was able to reliably create 10 degrees of tilt. So it means I can use a few of these longer pin balls to create some different motion that I normally can't.
I have a question about that.
Yep.
So you created this, now you have 10. So because you want that on the fresher.
Yeah.
So can you stay in this ball a little bit longer then? Then you'll take it back out?
Well, this is a ball as we start to see friction, as your fresh ball either starts to, you know, maybe be a little bit early or a little bit lazy. Yeah. This is a ball that you can throw to a defined friction point and is going to open up the lane. So your fresh ball you may only be in the fresh ball for a game. Yeah. And then your ball up, you could be in there for 3 games, 5 games. It just depends on the oil pattern. Did that answer the question?
Yeah.
Okay. It's if you don't have defined friction, your ball up has to either be able to create friction, so like adding more surface to it, or take advantage of the friction that you've created with your fresh ball. This is the thing that's going to increase your angle to the pocket. It's going to increase your carry. It's probably going to be your highest scoring ball. I have it finished at 2,000, 3,000. Notice no polish. I do want it to be able to see the lane. Next up, we've got late hook. Now, late hook is a ball that goes down a little bit longer than your ball up. It's not going to have as much time to hook. We're also going to change the surface a little bit so it has a little bit less hook. For this one, I've chosen the Night Prowler. Now, normally for the late hook ball, you'd want a ball with an RG of 2.52. So you can already see we've gone up 0.4 differential, which is equal to about 3 to 4 feet in total length. So we want 2.52 or more. We want a differential less than 0.045. So we don't want a ball that's going to flare as much as our ball up. So it's going to stay on that oil strip a little bit longer. It's going to be able to get down lane a little bit easier. Say if you see a lot of friction in the front of the lane, drier lanes, this ball is still going to hook. It's just not going to be a hook monster like you see with your ball up. Now the Night Prowler here has an RG of 2.49. So to make up for that, we just dunked the fingers. We talked about raising the RG of the ball by drilling the fingers deeper. Nice thing about using a dot technology ball is I can bury these fingers and have that pin in that position there. So I've gone down about 3 inches in here to raise the RG plane to try to create that distance. It's finished at 4,000 grit, plus technically it's at 3,000 grit, 4,000 grit, 5,000 D. So it's going to have a fair amount of distance to it, but it's still going to hook down lane. Next we have our burn ball. This is a brand new one for me. Thanks to a good friend of the show and personal friend, Chris McAlpine. This is an old Track Tour Sick. It is sick. This ball has, well, first your burn ball, you want an RG of 2.55 plus, a differential of less than 0.35. Basically, this is a ball that you are going to have your lowest differential, your highest RG, and your highest surface on it, excuse me, somewhere around 4,000 plus polish. That's why this thing is so shiny. This ball happens to have an RG of 2.6 and a differential of 0.33. Even though it's not a pearl ball, this cover stock just seems to do well with polish on it. So that's what I chose. For this ball, we went with a layout of, now see, this is a little different. Normally, I would say 60 by 5.5 by 65. So longer drill angle on a symmetrical ball, 5.5 inch pin to pap is really going to push it down lane and make it more of a hockey stick shape. And a 65-degree valve angle is going to make it lay off the friction. But that's the burn. So when they're torn up in the front and flying in the back, this ball can get down lane and then hook. Yeah. This one did something a little bit different with it. I went with 60 by 5.75 by 40 degrees. See, the pin is above here. As I've said, I don't do really well with those long pin positions. Low tilt people don't tend to. But this ball is one that I'm going to be hooking a lot. I'm going to be creating a lot of tilt and a lot of rotation with. So I thought I would give it a try. Mixing that pin distance with the ball laying off that much, though, I thought was going to be a recipe for disaster for me. So I made it just a tiny bit faster response, and I'm glad I did. This cover stock is a little bit slower, so faster response layout plus faster response surface equals a really, really nice shape for when they're burnt. I was telling Scoops, I came in, I shot 168 to warm up, and then shot 1053 for 5. I shot like 885 for 4. And I haven't bowled in 8 weeks. Like, this ball was just, I had no business bowling that good, and this ball made me look amazing. So this is what I'm using for burn ball. A lot of people will use a lot of your entry line stuff. You'll see like the Beast or Tundras, stuff like that. That's what a lot of people use for burn balls. The old Nitrous. Oh, no, sorry, not the Nitrous. The Turbo R, the re-release of the Turbo R. Yeah, the Nitrous is actually a really good numbers for the late hook ball. It's a 253.035, I think.
So for the burn ball, you recommend a symmetric or an asymmetric?
Symmetric. Yeah.
I said that, I just got when you pulled up that ball.
You need it to continue to hook, to keep hooking. Now I have a dilemma when it comes to urethane. Well, I mean, not everybody can have a purple widow, but I have a purple hammer. But I also have a blue hammer. She's pretty. See, she's pretty. And she's a real one. Now for urethane, 1000 surface, it's a layout that tends to, well, most urethane that gets used is symmetrical. So they use a longer pin distance to push the ball down lane and a fairly fast response valve angle because they want it to see the friction, burn off energy, and not really hook down lane. Yeah, so this is, we say 55 by 5 by 35, which is what we put on the double cross, which is around here somewhere. So I have to sit down and figure out which one of these I'm going to put in my bag. The double cross has a lot more flair to it than the purple, so I don't know if it's going to be too strong. The blue is much weaker than the purple for me. But then the pink is also coming. So I don't know what I should do. There's so many choices.
I'm predicting the future. I'm saying it's being pink.
It'll probably be pink. And then last but not least, in the bag is a spare ball. You can drill it really any way you want to. However, as we did a few days ago, I drilled up a Spy, just so that I could have a little bit more versatility with my spare ball, because I can keep this nice and shined and throw it as a spare ball. At most it hooks 5 boards at a box, or I can hit this thing with a 2000 pad and this thing will hook. It's just a little bit, at 2000 it's just a little bit of a downgrade from the Tour Sick, but it hooks a different place on the lanes. So that is a 6-ball arsenal. A fresh ball up, a late hooking ball, a burn ball, a urethane ball, and a spare ball. Now why the heck am I doing this? Because the May 2-4 weekend, as we call it in Canada, the 2-4, there's a PBA regional in Buffalo. And I haven't been able to leave the country in months, a couple of years now. Every time I try to leave, something happens and they close down the borders or Anyway, that's my goal, is I'm going to bowl that event, which happens to be in about 110 days. So I'm going through and I'm training physically. I'm getting my arsenal together, and just getting ready, giving myself something to push towards. When you don't have a goal, when you don't have some place you want to go to bowl, it just you lose focus, you lose motivation. You know what I mean? Like you just don't have any reason to do it.
Yeah, and you've been really open, close, open, close, open, close.
Oh, it's been terrible. Open, close, open, close.
So, like, we haven't had a lot of tournaments. Even the kids' tournaments have been rescheduled multiple times.
Oh, I was in
For the last years.
I was in working with a youth bowler on Monday. Center's reopened for the first time in 7 weeks. He's in practicing because he's got a tournament this Sunday, because the only time they can get a youth event in is this Sunday.
That's nuts.
So Quebec's not even open yet. They can't do anything, and then people are going to be coming to wherever this is for the Ivan Nelson tournament and bowling, I guess, about as fresh as you can be.
Yeah.
I guess that makes it easy for everyone. Everyone's on an even playing field.
That's for sure. And that's one of the biggest youth tournaments we have around here. And I wasn't sure when they were going to get back up and going. So.
Yeah. So I'll show you my little sheet here. I keep a list of all of my equipment that I have access to, with the layouts, surfaces. I've even got some on here I haven't drilled yet. But I try to keep stuff there, so that way when I'm building an arsenal, when I'm going to a tournament, I can look at what I've got, the 6 that I've got as my base, and I can say, okay, what do I need from there? You can see I've gotten written down on here, if I need something different from my fresh ball, maybe I look at my Paragon Solid. Maybe for my ball up, if they're really heavy oil, maybe I look at my Knockout instead of my Results Pearl, or something like that. So it allows me to very quickly be able to go through my arsenal and say, oh yeah, I've got, my Night Prowler's drilled this, my Max Results is drilled 55 by 3.5 by 35, so I know it's going to be super early. So I can go through and figure out what I want to throw. That's about all I had for arsenal building. We're going to test it out this week on Wednesday, I guess tomorrow. It's our first night of league for the year, of abbreviated league. So I'll get to...
Test it out?
Yeah. I think this week is what we're doing our vote, our league vote, and it's just for averages, right?
A meeting, and then just to get in shape, I think.
Yeah.
They're going to count scores. It might just be bowling to get stretched out.
Oh, the heck with that. We'll put money on it.
Somebody will find money.
Yeah.
I'm sure Blakely's there.
I can...
Get a text today with a dancing hot dog. So.
I can hear Blakely counting his money already. I've drilled some new stuff for him, and I got another ball I'm drilling for him.
Yeah.
And I bet you he's been practicing at home.
Yeah.
So look at this.
How long is snowblower?
Look at that.
That is awesome.
Ooh.
So he fell off his snowboard and hurt his back.
Oh, geez. He just got his knee fixed.
So, yeah, but he said, when I talked to him last, he said he was all feeling much, much better, and he's all ready to go. So.
Good. I'm glad. He's been... when we left last year, he was really struggling with his knee.
Yes.
So I'm glad he's got that fixed. Don't break your back, dude. Jeez. Are we filling the thumb on this too, or?
I don't know, what do you think?
I don't know. You didn't tell me if you were going to throw it, if you were going to fill it, or what.
I'm gonna want to throw it if we can re-drill into the fingers.
Okay. Yeah, I'll have to cut this down. I don't know what to do with this eruption either. I don't know where this fits into my arsenal.
I thought we were doing the early blend out.
I do have that layout on it. I just don't know
If you want to.
if I want to. It's a low RG core, like it's 248. Oh, we got something from Oh, that's Vincent. What? About time we hit the lanes. Darn right.
We also have a question about how are we enjoying having more balls in the brand to choose from?
I'm enjoying it a lot. It's been, I think they're positioning the brands, they're kind of getting a feel for what each brand does, and they're positioning them in the greater overall picture to create better arsenals. Like I found the track stuff has been starting to push towards higher RG, which is something that we don't have a lot of in the lineup. Hammer stuff, we're seeing a lot of smooth, a lot of early stuff with the urethanes and the 3D offset.
I think that's why I'm gravitating more towards the hammer lately.
Yeah, Radical's always been the most hookingest balls, whether it be angular or total hook. So everyone's kind of falling into their place. It makes it a lot easier when you have a really fleshed out brand like that to build these arsenals. Like I look at the information I have put together from the Weber seminar, and you know, I look up there, and if you're signed to a company, it would be very hard for some collegiate athletes to put together an arsenal, because there's just not some of those pieces available.
Yeah.
You know, like there isn't a Tour 6 in the lineup. There isn't a 2.6 RG 033 ball. There just isn't. Not with some performance. Sour Sweet Tart, say welcome. Thank you for joining us. Like even the rhinos are 2.5. I think the biggest core in them is like 2.54, and then the rest of them are like 2.8s. So getting very specific numbers now that we have a more fleshed out brand makes it a lot easier. Now, having said that, I still don't know what to do with the eruption eruption here. I've been kind of watching, trying to see if anybody was throwing it at the U.S. Open this week.
Don't watch Jacob.
You see Jacob's arsenal?
Jacob's got what I would take.
Yeah.
If I had any pick ball, I think I'd just copy whatever balls he takes.
10 balls, 8 urethane, 2 resin balls, and a spare ball.
Yeah.
That's the way to do it.
Yeah.
So
I
it.
haven't seen too many guys with the eruption. Not saying that it's bad ball. I just think it's not for the open. It's not what they're looking for right now.
Yeah, like today's pattern, which literally looks like a middle finger.
Yeah.
That one, I've seen a lot of people try to play around it. Some people try to hook through it. They had to get deep on it real fast. Like game 4, a lot of the guys were already playing the left gutter as right-handers. Why? You don't want to do it?
I can do it. Maybe I don't want to do it, but you know, I just think it's like really having to go that deep. My opinion is kind of crazy.
Well, I guess it pushes the pros to be the best that they possibly could be.
But really, I guess that would, you know, the higher rev guys are still gonna rip the cover off of it. So I guess us not so high rev guys are, you know, maybe not so much. How did you do today?
Give me a second here.
How did you do today?
I gotta learn to breathe less. Holy moly. Yeah. I've broken my nose, what, 7 times, and they fixed it once. And now when I like a little bit more mouth breather than normal, and you don't notice until you get a microphone near, and then suddenly you're an obscene caller. What are you wearing, Scoops? Oh, maybe you're Bane. Oh, yes. Hello. You merely adapted to bowling. I was born into it. Let's see, we got TV Photog 17, considering a Paragon. Might be too strong for house shot. Depends on, it depends on your personal game. If you have a lot of tilt and you've got a lot of oil in the lanes, Paragon's going to be great game 1. Might have to switch out of it middle of game 2, game 3. If you have a shorter or a lighter oil house shot, you can add some surface, or take some surface off of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Need a big ASIM solid, that's probably the one.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Paragon or the Quantum Evo are the two big, big beefy ASIMs. I think the Evo, if I remember correctly, this is why I take notes. I've become a real note taker in my old age because I forget stuff.
Does the Evos have the same quantum core that was in the other bias?
They have the quantum core, but it's just that new Dynamic Core 2.
And then new cover stock.
Yeah. Now let's see here. It's the QR11 cover stock, which is it places it right between the blue and the black paradox, closer to the blue, which is like the most hooking paradox.
Yeah.
It's 2 to 3. The Evo is 2 boards stronger, but the Paragon is 3 feet earlier than the Evo solid.
So yeah, the Evo might be a bit better for
Yeah.
this is for lengthwise, right?
So if you need it to be super beefy, Paragon. If you need it to have a little bit more shape as a big solid, then the Evo. I think will do you. Or just get yourself some urethane. That's what Nick would say. That's right. And just keep moving right.
Listen, it's fun to move right when everybody else is doing that.
Except they get to a point and realize the ball doesn't hook anymore because of how far right you've moved. Oh, it doesn't hook. You're so mean for playing urethane.
Yeah, I love the posts on Facebook right now because the pink's coming out. A lot of guys are posting that they're going to bring a pink and a cross and a purple down the lane, and people's minds are going to explode.
Even Phil brought, didn't he say he brought 2 double crosses to his league?
Yeah.
Like, that's just over the edge. He went from no urethane to all the urethanes.
Well, he spent about a week and a half, I think, polishing his. So.
Yes. That is something that I keep yelling at them at the screen. Ronnie Russell said this, how do you polish a urethane ball? There's only one way I know of to do it. Well, that too. But no, CTD.
Yeah.
The True Cut pads.
Yeah.
I have watched, Gary Faulkner did it. The non-national champion one. He took it up, I think he took it up with the 5000 D pad and then used the 5500 polish.
Yeah.
And he got a purple to be like gleamy.
I find using my CTD pads on my urethane did bring it up a lot more than I wanted.
Yep.
So I went back to the Sierra pads last time I resurfaced mine just to they weren't as shiny.
The surface was too good, so I had to go back to a different pad.
It was just different, that's all. Maybe if I used a lower grit, right? Like Ron's always saying that the true cut is true.
Yep.
Right? So, I went back to the Sierra pads for what they said is what they use. So I don't have one of those fancy scanners
To check to see what it really is?
To see what it really is. So.
Well, you've always been a real fan of low grits anyway. you loved your Timeless when you hit it at 800.
800 is one of my favorite grits.
Yeah. Isn't that what your Teal Pro was at as well? Your Teal Rhino Pro?
Yes. Yep. That DTC, the Inception.
Oh, yep.
I had it at 800. My Reacts Purple, the V2.
Yeah.
It was at 800, and that was phenomenal for me. So
Do you still have that ball, or did it blow up?
it cracked.
Ah, darn it.
Yeah, those ones were one of the few radical ones that I think I had that cracked.
Yeah, the V2s, the blue and the purple one, just seem to have some kind of issue,
Yeah.
which is, you know, if they're under warranty, you replace them. That's bowling.
Nope.
It's a shame though. There isn't really a motion like that out there anymore.
We don't have the pink urethane yet. It's on its way, though, I believe.
Oh, TV photog, yeah. I know that it got shipped out of New Mexico today, so it will be arriving. Best guess, I'd say probably next Wednesday. We'll have it.
That is, if it doesn't get stolen on the way here to send off to somebody else, because they're sold everywhere.
It's. No, I know it's coming. It's been
Okay.
shipped. I got the information for it. It's not like the
Yeah,
Ghost.
we've had a couple balls like that. We became so popular that
We had to wait for
we had
them.
to wait.
Yeah, they said you can review it or customers can have it, and we always say customers come first. So, oh, somebody tried to send a message, but it was deleted. It probably said something naughty.
Oh, no. Are they yelling at me for talking about your...
Could have had a swear words in it.
them swear words?
Them
People use-
swears words.
Use the symbols. Just put squiggles. We can figure it
That's right.
out. And talk about cuberness.
Or talk like the Hicks on Letterkenny. It's what appreciates about yous. So yeah, that's all about all I had planned for today. That was it, talking about it. I already threw the Tour Sick. I went down and bowled yesterday with the Tour Sick and the Obsession Tour Solid and the Spy. I did take the other stuff, the other new stuff that came in down with me, but I never got a chance to throw them because there wasn't enough oil. Oh, DCB said nope, was commenting about sanding urethane, and it got deleted.
It wasn't me.
Yeah.
It wasn't me. No, I'm all about sanding and adjusting. Like, for me, if you could adjust your urethane and throw it all day, I would.
Yeah, absolutely.
I just really have searched the last few years for something that gives me the shape that I want to throw with the shots they've been putting down that I bowl on. And urethane just seems to be what works right now. So.
It's funny. You think between 1990 and 1994, the first resin stuff started, really gaining popularity.
Yeah.
And everybody wanted hook. Here we are 30 years later, and everybody's like, no, I want that old school urethane. I don't want it to hook anymore.
Well, and I think that's part of the fact that they're changing the patterns to be closer to what they used to be. With the changing the rules, you don't have to put the oil on lanes now and stuff like that. And it's a different shape. And I mean, I'm all for saving centers money.
Yep.
So I like, and our center is really good for making sure the bowlers are happy. So.
Yeah, Tom and the folks at Bowlerama have done a very good job. They always make sure that the lanes are clean for us. They put down a shot if we ask for it. They have always treated us very nicely.
Yeah. So, letting them put a little less oil down is okay with me.
Yep. And if they want to yell at Scoops, they can totally yell at him all they want. Don't even have to have a reason. You can just start yelling at him. It's all good with me. Oh, your sister does work down there, so she could come over and just start yelling at you. So are there any other questions? Anything you guys want to talk about out there?
What was the comment? I want to know what the comment was about the urethane and sanding the urethane.
Me too.
It was a ban kicked off. That was not.
It was weird. I know when we last left, they were finishing B squad. I know EJ had led A squad.
Yeah, Andrew was up there too. I think he was in third.
There was quite a few people on A squad from the Brunswick brands. I saw Dom up in the top 12. A few of those
I
guys.
didn't realize they were started so early, so I didn't have a chance to check or anything. So.
They start at 8 a.m.
Yeah.
You know what that is? Too early.
If I didn't have to work, it'd be perfect. I'd be okay with that. I'd be better in the morning anyways.
Yeah, some people do bowl better in the morning.
I always find that my Sunday morning average is a little bit better than my Wednesday night average.
Anthony Simonson is currently the new leader. Oh, it's from 2 hours ago. Let's see here. Okay. After 8 games for squads A and B, Ronnie Russell's tied for 6th. Sterner's in 8th. Oh, wow. EJ and Andrew Anderson in 2nd and 3rd right now. Belmo and Troop in 9th and 10th.
I'm happy to see Ronnie up there. I'm glad to see him back with the Brunswick guys. He never found a home in the other guys when he tried them out.
He bounced around a couple of companies.
He's a I love watching Ronnie bowl.
He is a natural athlete. You think he can play golf, he can play bowling, he can just really do just about anything. Plus he can sing, he can dance. You know what he can't do? Call himself Scoops.
When are they doing the rest of the draft? I'd like to see I'm hoping Ronnie gets picked for a team this year. I was so disappointed he didn't get drafted last year.
I don't know.
Because they did the captains or coaches picks or whatever that they could lock in players they wanted or something, didn't they?
Yeah. Oh, here we go. After 4, here's A, B, and A and B after 8, and C after 4. Ronnie Russell in 7th. Tom Doherty in 8th.
Nice.
Jason down to 11th. Not that he bowled bad. Some people have jumped up. Francois 13th. The Canadian spare machine.
Frankie.
Brad Miller. Brad Miller had 279 in the middle.
Nice.
Hey, 15th. Nathan from Canada. We got another Canadian up in there.
That's awesome.
Dom Barrett in 17th. Ryan Simonelli in 18th. He just took 10 grand off somebody a couple of nights ago. Norm's in 23rd right now.
See, I think Norm's going to pick it up on the next 2 patterns. I think this one, like you said, they got so left, so fast.
So fast, yeah.
Or the next one's, I know the next one's the shorter flat, right? Like gutter to gutter, I think.
Yeah,
I remember Tom put up the patterns.
yeah. The patterns are pretty silly looking.
And then the last one to me looked more like a house shot, but I didn't look at the volume. I was just looking at the shapes. So
Yeah,
I
that's
could
the.
see that being ridiculous. Now, are they doing the goofy oil, no oil, re-oil, or are they all getting fresh, all 3 squads?
I don't know.
Because what was it? The one year they had 4 squads, right?
Yeah, and then they had like the burn and the double burn. I think they got rid of that because it became a lofting competition.
Yeah.
But I mean, you always see oil characteristics as the day goes on.
Yeah.
So your B squad and your C squad are now going to be tighter down lane.
With if you put a fresh shot down, you're not going to get 100% of everything off.
Yeah, you know, it takes time for the oil to get off the lanes, and as they bowl more, they're going to get tighter and tighter. So I think it's going to be pretty well as the patterns change too. It's going to get really interesting.
Yeah, like today, I would have liked it more to been on the C squad. Just the last guys go, get a little bit of drag down, and so like I said, I can get left and play that far left, but
You don't prefer to?
I like to play a little bit straighter. That's why I love watching the Players Championship, because even Belmont was playing trailer straight. Get a little bit of drag down, and
Ah.
It was neat to watch this guy. I accidentally found the qualifier,
Yep.
so I got to watch all 5 guys roll.
Oh yeah, the one on Facebook.
Yeah, the Facebook one, yeah. That was awesome.
Yeah. The only,
Enjoyed that.
the one complaint I have heard is people don't like them moving to the center that they're bowling at in Texas.
Okay.
Like when they bowled the regional qualifiers and stuff, because they all qualified in their own zone,
Oh, okay, yeah.
and they qualified on a certain lane topography and stuff.
Yeah.
Um,
And then the top 5 guys win.
and then they had to go someplace else and bowl for a title on lanes that, I mean, they even said on the broadcast, DJ Arsher used to bowl league at that center.
Yeah.
So it was that's the only thing I don't like. But you can't have a truck traveling to do, and enough cameras to cover each one of them.
What are you gonna do? At some point, you gotta get all the guys together, right? Like, you can't. What are you gonna? Each guy's gonna bowl their own center, like, and then, you know. I guess with technology, we could do that, but it wouldn't be as fun.
Just got a message from JD Drake from a couple episodes again, AEW Superstar, just letting me know. As I always say, we're always talking back and forth about swing stuff. He was just saying, oh, when I relax my swing, I feel like I'm pulling it. My answer was, then you're not relaxing your swing.
Yeah.
You know, one of those things I tell people, and I had to learn this the hard way, really, you don't use this part back for creating rev. Like from, I don't know why I'm playing from those, here, all the way back to your shoulder here, this does nothing. This is a guide. You shouldn't be pulling this. You shouldn't be, if you feel like you're raising it, if you excessively or loading it up, you're doing too much work with it. When you're hitting it, all your rev rate comes from the bottom window. That's where you're actually hitting it forward. So if you feel like you're relaxing it and you're pulling it this way, it probably means you're pulling it down in your swing and you're turning your hand. So you're coming around this way.
Trying to make it go.
You got to keep the inside. You got to keep your forearm up, so that when you do go to hit it, it's out in front of you. So it's not affecting your ball path. The ball is already exiting. You're just imparting some rotation.
When I start squeezing and grabbing and doing that stuff, I remember he told me about keeping my elbow on the inside of my wrist.
Yep.
So if I keep my elbow on the inside of the wrist, then I can't do that. So
That's right. Because as soon as you start to engage your shoulder, your elbow naturally turns this way.
yeah.
So then your hand comes onto the side of the ball. So you lose place where you can rotate it. You either come over the top, or you lose rotation because you don't have as far to go. If you keep your hand and your forearm on the inside, you can hit that Nike swoosh. Swoosh! Any more questions or anything good? Nope. I don't think so. Well, this has been fun. I enjoy the social one, just talking about stuff back and forth. If anybody has any questions, please remember to put them on our social. You got anything over there, Mr. Scoops?
Not especially.
No questions or anything? No?
I'm good. Oh,
mi-
I got a question for everybody.
Okay.
If, it's a big if I were to grow back the hawk and paint it a funny color, what color would everybody want to see?
Oh yeah. Put that up on social media. Put that on Facebook and stuff. Now we
I'm thinking
are.
about it because my hair is really long right now, so I could really, start to get it back real quick. So.
Now we got something here for Twitch. We want to thank our Twitch viewers because we're just about to hit 50 viewers and get our affiliate. So when we hit 50, we've got something special to give away here. May have seen something like this on our walls before. We have an autographed Parker Bone III Brunswick poster. Hand autographed in Sharpie. So, when we get to 50 followers, we're going to run a contest. We're going to give this thing away. Now, if you live someplace silly that it's going to cost us $1 million to ship it to, we may ask you to help us with that. But I got this nice roly-poly shipping sleeve here, and I want to send it to somebody, and I want somebody to have an awesome something for following us and for helping us out here in the drill room. We appreciate our fans. Like I said, we want, we're at about 30% subscription on our YouTube. So when we get up to 40 and 50%, we're going to run a contest on YouTube, and we're going to give away some jerseys and some other cool stuff. But we want to really thank everybody who's been following us here on Twitch by doing something just for you Twitch followers. So smash that follow on Twitch here, subscribe on YouTube, just search Laneside Reviews, or The Bearded Beast, or Scoops, or, you know, good stuff like that. Anything you'd like to add, Mr. Scoops?
No, just thanks for following, and keep following.
If there's something you'd like to see on one of our shows, please let us know.
Yep, anything.
Um,
I'm working on getting old guy Wayne to come over one night too. So.
yes, we're trying to, past 5 o'clock, it's past the early bird special. It might be past his bedtime too. So we're not quite sure.
It's a little old and cranky. You don't want to see him cranky yet.
That's right.
Yeah.
So, all right, I'm going to come back over here by Mr. Scoops.
You know, Robbie could do his wrap up.
Hey, there I am. All right. So, once again, take this off. By the way, if you guys like this mask, this is one of the CTD Creating the Difference 3-layer masks. These things are super comfortable. They have the nose piece in it to keep your glasses from fogging up. I really like these. Myself, my whole family, everybody I can get these for, I get them to use them. So once again, I want to thank everybody for joining us. Please tune in again on Thursday. We're going to be here a little later on Thursday, probably going to be closer to 8 o'clock on Thursday, just because we've got leagues starting on Thursday again. So we'll go from 8 until 9, or thereabouts. You can follow us here on Twitch at Laneside Reviews. You can find us at lanesidereviews.com. It'll take you to our Facebook. You can find us at Laneside Reviews on Twitter and on YouTube. Don't forget, these shows come out the day after we record them on YouTube. Post all your questions either there, or you can email us at lanesidereviews@live.com. Hopefully this week we're going to be getting down to the lanes and finally doing a review of all of the new stuff that's come out. We've got the Double Cross from Radical, the Paragon from Track, we've got the Knockout from Brunswick, we've got that Eruption that I still have to drill. What I might do is I might message... See, even I ask for help. Ooh, even I ask for help sometimes. My ball rep, the guy I work with, you guys may have seen him on TV, Eric Krause, ball rep for Brunswick. I might give him a shout and ask him where he thinks that ball is going to fit in, and maybe we'll do another show on it. Even though we've already laid it out and stuff, I think it'd be fun to kind of talk about where it fits in and its use. So until next time, guys, we'll see you laneside. Oh, but only if I can find the button.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss a show. So until next time, guys, we'll see you laneside.